Hello, Pumpkin Spice listeners. This is Rob coming in at the beginning of this new bonus episode to hip you to something cool that's going on the rest of October. The last two bonus episodes, hey, maybe there'll be a third one. I forgot to count the weeks. But for the next two bonus episodes, you'll hear interviews with me and a few people behind the new documentary In Search of Darkness. It's a horror movie doc about the 80s, or rather, horror movies from the 80s. These episodes will also be made public down the line, maybe in a week after each. I just want to window them to our patrons first. As we progress past Halloween, got some more fun stuff in store for you, but those will be strictly for the patrons. So, without further ado, let's get into this episode. Thank you so much for supporting artists. I know you don't do it to get something in return, but I still feel like giving you these bonus episodes because that's how this works. Thanks again. Hello, welcome to Pumpkin Spice Podcast. I'm Rob Schulte.
I'm Brittany. Hi.
Brittany, today is a fun bonus episode. You know why?
Tell me.
Of course you do.
No, yes, I already knew, but refresh my memory.
I got to sit down and talk with Robin Block, who is producing In Search of Darkness. It's a new 80s horror movie documentary.
Cool.
Yeah, I saw this trailer, I sent an email, and they were very eager. They were like, what? Pumpkin Spice Podcast?
That sounds delicious.
I love that. And I've been listening to you for the past 3 years. Please, you're the best podcast out there.
Did they really say that?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I was convinced.
I could read between the lines. I know they were pretty excited. But here's the thing. And I think we've both been there.
We've definitely been there.
You ever been in performance mode so hard that it really takes away from your actual interviewing skills?
All the time. Have you seen my CatCon stuff? Just kidding.
Yeah, so I was just very overzealous when I was talking and so excited that I feel like I stumbled over some of my words. So I thought, let's go to the magic of production. And I can talk to you, my good friend, Brittany Brittiford. Brittiford. People will find out that in TV show.
That's right.
We've got really cool code names coming up soon.
Yeah.
I figured I'd let you know about it, and we can go into it. So,
tell me.
Yeah. First, we started just talking about Robin's life, like how he even got into making media, films, all that sort of stuff.
The backstory, if you will.
A little bit. Just give us some context. But he had started a production company, and then he branched off and started something else that started creating special interest documentaries. Mm-hmm. Here, take a listen to this.
Yeah, of course. So my background is basically in television and factual entertainment. Back in 2005, I started a production company working with the biggest brands in the world. And I think earlier on this year, I decided to move back into long-form documentaries. So I started a new business called Creator VC, which is really looking at creating long-form content for special interest audiences. So what I do is I look at where you have a community of people that are really interested in a particular subject, and where you have that sort of the right environment, you can use crowdfunding as a mechanism to create the capital to deliver high quality, in this case, feature-length documentaries. And very briefly, my first project under this new company was a feature-length documentary on 80s action films with a YouTuber called Oliver Harper, and that got funded, and that's in production. That's going really well, and it was so much fun that I thought, you know what, and this was July, I thought, you know, the next significant date is Halloween. Let's do this for horror, and the rest is history.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought so too. And then it goes even further. You talk about the audience. You got a Pokemon audience. You've got a Yu-Gi-Oh audience. I'm doing a lot of anime audiences, but every fun faction has an audience. CatCon, you know about the cat audience.
Yes, I do.
And horror movies also have an audience.
Oh, you better believe it.
And he had some really cool things to say about that.
Well, I think that, crowdfunding is an incredible tool. So if you look at how media is, I bet, your Instagram feed or your Twitter feed, if you look at the people you follow, that's almost like a fingerprint for you. Like, your special interests are very geared towards you as an individual, and that's the same of all of us now. So what that means is you get pockets of deep engagement around very fragmented interests, and what that means is you get a lot of people who are dedicated and interested in one area, and that audience is not always an audience that gets served by mainstream media. So that creates an opportunity for specialists to come in and create content for that special interest audience. So that's very much the case with 80s horror, although the actual audience is actually quite broad, because it's there's something about the 1980s, there's something about horror which it really taps into a lot of people in a very quite a powerful way, and so part of the fun and enjoyment that I've had working through this project has been sort of discovering the horror community and working with some really amazing people, and it's just been a total blast. So I think that to your original question around crowdfunding is, and crowdsourcing is the term you use. I think that's really about creating something for the people, for the fans, by the fans, and having them and their input all the way through the process. So if I give you an example with our documentary, because it's about 80s horror, you'd expect there to be a load of 80s horror icons, which there is, but one of the groups of stakeholders that we've worked hard to include in our documentary is horror influencers, the merchandisers, the guys that run the social media accounts, the journalists, the people who actually provide the bridge between the work and the actual the audience. So that's very much something that's been very, very deliberate with us, because we listen to the audience. So even now that we've moved into stretch goals, our stretch goals are basically what our audience have asked us to deliver for them. So that's a long answer, but that's basically what we're doing.
Pretty in depth, wouldn't you say?
The most in depth.
When you go to 80shorrordoc.com, you see this amazing painting that looks like a classic horror movie VHS cover.
Yeah.
But it's every horror person.
Totally.
And they commissioned that by a very famous artist.
But that was the best one. So the one of the things I'm really proud of with our Kickstarter campaign is I commissioned a legendary horror illustrator called Graham Humphreys to do our main artwork. If you go to the Kickstarter, you'll see it's the landscape. And if in Europe anyway, all the big horror movies from the 80s were, we viewed them through his lens. He did the poster, cover art for Nightmare on Elm Street, Evil Dead, just tons of horror movies. He was the go-to guy. So his aesthetic really shaped our sort of viewpoint over in Europe. But that was the best. I miss that. I miss going and choosing a movie based on the cover art. It didn't even matter if it was really, really bad. Because the kind of you were told kind of the story through the cover art, and And what you're seeing nowadays is there is a real sort of revival in that type of illustration. And I think that the film marketers nowadays realise the value in communicating to us that way.
So yeah, I definitely helped fund this Kickstarter because I want the Blu-ray of it. But there's different levels, as he's talked about, that you can go to.
Gotta have the Blu-ray.
Gotta have HD, baby.
Yeah.
But I'm going to leave it with Robin talking about where people can find them and how you can help. But this has been fun.
I've had an enjoyable time.
Thanks for indulging me, Brittany.
Anytime. Just
telling
kidding.
you
Only
all
on
about
the
this
weekends.
experience. All right. See y'all later. Stay spooky.
Bye.
Absolutely. So the biggest stretch goal for us at the moment is to do a 3-hour plus extended cut. And so if you look at a lot of the horror documentaries, Camp Crystal Lake and Leviathan and the Never Sleep Again was a fantastic documentary. These are sort of special interest documentaries that are appealing to a dedicated audience. You're not going to invest your time in watching one of those if you're not a fan or interested in the work that it talks about. So that was something that came through to us in a very strong way through Twitter, through Instagram, through our Facebook page. When we were talking to people time and time again, it was like, this is what we want. We want something that we can really get our teeth into. So as part of our stretch goals, that's absolutely number one. Number two would just be more interviews, because there's so many great people. And what's amazing about the Kickstarter process is we launched with a world-class lineup of talent. And I'm not just talking about 80s icons, I'm talking about modern horror greats and some great, some of the world's best experts on horror at our starting point. But we've got a few huge names to announce moving forward during this Kickstarter process. So that stretch goal allows us to, it gives us the resources to be able to go after these bigger names and be able to get to film them and get what we need from the opportunity. So it's really significant. I think people get it. They misunderstand crowdfunding. So we never ask for donations. It's rewards-based crowdfunding. So essentially, we're pre-selling. So if you go to our website, which is 80shorrordoc.com, you'll be redirected straight away to our Kickstarter page, where there are some incredible rewards, which are really only available for backers of the project. And we're day 10 in the Kickstarter, and we've had, 660 backers so far. So it's going phenomenally well. If you want to donate, that's great, but we'd rather you choose a reward tier that suits you. So we've got some amazing limited edition posters, Blu-rays, DVDs. We've actually gone into a partnership with the record label New Retro Wave, because that synthwave element, especially of how the 80s now is contextualized, is a real key part of what we're doing. So sort of partnering up with them has been a massive opportunity. We're on all the social media, and our handle for Twitter and Instagram is at 80shorrordoc. So go check us out and check out the trailer. The trailer we've done is phenomenal, and I'm sure all of your audience will enjoy that because we put a lot of work in. So go check it out.